With the takeaway from the markets yesterday, as far as the Bank of England is concerned, the outlook seemed to be relatively optimistic versus what people were expecting to hear out of the bank yesterday. Is it fair to say that the recovery from here onwards is going to be a function mainly of how the vaccine rollout goes?
Good morning, Jemima. Yes, I think that's true. It also matters how people themselves respond to the health outlook, how cautious they will be, even having received the vaccine, about some types of spending. But yes, I think the vaccination program gives us a little more confidence in the shape of that recovery. I should say that it's, in level terms, no stronger than we forecast 3 months ago. In fact, it's slightly weaker. So you should see the strong growth we have and the fact that it's stronger than the forecast we had in November later this year, really as a function of the lower starting point, which results, as you say, from the lockdown and therefore the likely drop in output in the first quarter of the year. So in levels terms, we're not any more optimistic than we were 3 months ago, but I think the vaccination rollout gives us a little more confidence in that recovery.
I want to take you to one of the potential downside risks. The furlough scheme is set to end in the summer, and per your forecast yesterday, you have the unemployment rate jumping back up to 7.8%. How confident are you in these numbers, and is there a risk that the unemployment rate actually overshoots that 7.8% number?
Of course. I mean, there are risks on both sides. That peak of near 8%, we've had the same number actually for the last 3 forecast rounds going back to August. And as you say, the furlough scheme has had an enormous impact on keeping many people employed who would otherwise have lost their jobs. And therefore, when it comes to an end, regrettably, it does seem very likely that unemployment will go up. And that is really the central reason, I should say, if one wanted to pick out only one, as to why monetary policy has been eased very aggressively here and indeed in other countries.
Ben, I just want to talk to you a little bit more about the path to reopening that you see in a post-vaccination world here in the UK. Yesterday, the UK government confirmed its hotel quarantine plans for travelers returning from high-risk countries. They also acknowledged that they spoke to Australia and New Zealand about best practice going down this route. What would it mean for your forecast to see the UK follow the Australia-New Zealand model more broadly, which I would interpret to mean much tighter borders, but a stronger reopening domestically?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, we have not, I should say, conditioned this forecast on some detailed piece-by-piece assumption about how the restrictions are unwound. It's a general loosening of restrictions that underlies the forecast. We have assumed that the current lockdown remains in place until the end of March and is gradually unwound thereafter over the following 3 to 6 months. But we've not sort of constructed this, as it were, bottom up and said, here, this piece will do such and such a thing, and that piece something else. So I can't say that we've taken into account separately each little bit of the lockdown or the restrictions. It's more a general relaxation over the next 6 to 9 months.